Why did you move from Louisiana to California?
Actually, I left Louisiana because my mom wanted me to leave. Everyone there, I think, every white person, I think, there hated me. And let me tell you what happened. A black girl that looked 100% white. Her name was Marty Garrett, and her brother Paul Garrett. And I would go by, and I would steal from them. I didn't know they were black, I thought they looked like you. I'm sorry. I had meat to eat. And staying there, I was there was a police officer named Bill Baker. He was always trying to shoot me. I got into it with the sheriff department there. Now, the reason the sheriff department and I got into it, I had been in the woods with that one-shot rifle I had to kill some animals to eat. I had 3 squirrels, and I don't know, it's 3 or something else right now. And I was so happy, and I was on my way home, and when you shoot an animal or anything, the blood comes out. At what pace, I don't know, but the doctor told me once a long time ago what business was about. He said, he said blood escapes at 92,000 of an inch if it's smashed in there, which means if it's smashed like that, it's projects whatever way, this way where you land. But the rabbits was across my back with blood all down there, and I was just as happy as I could be walking out the wood. But when I got to the main road, the sheriff put me over and he said, "You going to jail?" I said, "For what?" "Killing a rabbit out of season." Oh. Yeah, well, it's the same way in the United States and Florida right now. If you black in Florida to this day and you kill a rabbit out of season, you are going to go to jail. Mm-hmm. But in other ways, people kill that rabbit. But that's the way it was when I came along. I didn't know nothing about the law. So when he took my rabbit, and I looked around angry, hit me over the head. There's a scar there now. So when I got home, my mom thought I laid under the tree. Because I was almost a faint, but when Mom came home, she seen all the blood. She thought I had died. And it bothered her so much. And so I said, "Mom, are you okay?" And she said, "I thought you was dead, baby." That's the worst look I've ever seen to this day on my mom's face. She's dead, but she taught me how to live and how to die. And I decided I want to get the sheriff back. And she said, "Well, you can't do that." I said, "Okay, Mom." Because in those days you couldn't talk back to your parents, you got a woman, So what I did was make the sheriff a visit 2 days later. I set his house on fire. Oh. Yes, I did. I don't know if you know what kerosene is. Anyone know what kerosene is? But I surrounded all the windows of the house with the kerosene, and I was waiting with the rifle. And my mom showed up. She said, "I knew you were going to do this." She said, "They're never going to get you in the house." And I get him out of there too. And my mom got me out of there. So I was getting into so many houses with different people that was white where I came from until I knew, my mom knew it was time for me to leave. And I didn't really go directly into California right then. I went to Chicago because my uncle lived in Chicago. And he was one of them uncles like a black man like me, like to brag, "Man, I got a new car. You come over there, you can drive this car." This car was older than me. This car would break down. So I was starting to look for a job in Chicago. And while I was looking for a job in Chicago, I was off a place called Cicero. Cicero was nice then. And the police stopped me as I was walking. And when I walked, Mom had taught me to walk with my head this way up. So if I kind of bump, people didn't bother me at all. You see, walk around here with your head up like you own something. You have to get out of here. You have a job, you better get the hell on. And I said, "Okay." So the next day I went back looking for a job. And he came up. The third day came his buddy. I said, "Wait a minute now. I gave you enough respect, you better respect me. And don't call me boy no more. My name is Mr. Williams." And he refused to call me Mr. Williams. And I have learned from my mom that if you surprise a person, you scare the hell out of them. So what I did, I was standing here to my, "Don't call, I'm not gonna never call a nigga. I sleep." He was gone, man. And being stupid like I was, my uncle had told me, he said, "If you scare anyone," he said, "you better catch them. Because if you don't catch them, they're gonna kill you." He said, "But if you can run fast as you can go and you can't catch them, they'll never bother you again." so I couldn't catch the police. Not at all. But I had learned to stand, and in standing, that never was good for a man of my color. No place in America, even if it was New York, because New York had their problems too, if you study your history. And that was why I went to Chicago. And when I left Chicago, I had learned while I was living there, it was exactly like my mom told me. She said, everywhere you go, it's going to be the same thing. But for my uncle, it would be nice. I live in a nice place like he did. It was nice if you put it like rats. Big rats, like rabbits. You want to be cold. They had a heater that I'd never seen. I think you called it radiators back then in those days. And steam would come out. And so I found that under the big, huge apartment, they had was boilers that would heat things. And that's why I went to live in the boilers. Because I felt I wouldn't have to listen to him trying to keep me a slave. If a person doesn't know their history, they become a slave. That's what we black people came in America. And I was not going to be a slave no longer. Not at all. I had made more white people rich while I stayed poor. I remember during the interview, the guy, he said, you mean you was rich when you were a kid? You're talking about, yeah, pick cotton. Well, how did you get rich picking cotton? And I shared with him, the man I was picking for, he had new homes, new tractors. Instead of having 50 acres of land, now he had 300 or 400 acres of land. Big, huge barn. Junior was going to college, and I was going to the well get water. That wasn't right, man. So that's how I knew I became rich, is that he took, not my share, because they call it sharecropping then. He took his share, my share, he got one share of my family. And I wasn't going to go through that no more. And I wasn't going to stay in Chicago no longer. It was just as bad as Louisiana and Shreveport. So I went back home to Shreveport, Louisiana, to explain to my mom she was right. But I wasn't going to stay in Shreveport. And I found every place I went, it was the same identical place.